Hi guys, this is Vo. I'm very excited to see Gunpla at Target, which is kind of unheard of because Target is usually a kind of like a mainstream American, uh, you know, um, department store. And to get Gunpla, model kits of Gundam in the store is actually kind of interesting because I've never seen it sold at Target before. So I saw these and I picked it up. And actually, a little story is I saw these and I decided to test out this one first. So this was $10 and then this was $17. So this bigger box is actually for the Char suit. It's a little more expensive. So I decided to try out the $10 figure, and I have to say I love it. It's this is what I put together, and you don't have to have paint or stickers or tools, but it does help if you want to like brighten up his face. Maybe get a little tiny little marker to mark up the blackness on this. But otherwise, the figure when you assemble it is quite complete, and it's kind of small for my liking, but that is the case of these 1 to 144th scale. Other things I didn't like about it is that like certain parts are like his knee pad, for instance, comes off really easily. That's something a little glue, a little crazy glue couldn't fix because you can just put a little glue on there and dab it in and then let it sit to fuse together. But other than that, like all model kits, the plastic feels a little light and hollow. But I actually really love it, and it's kind of meant for beginners. So these kind of kits will take you about like maybe 10 minutes to put together. I mean, maybe a little more than that. I would recommend getting a little tiny little scissor to cut the frames. Now I haven't put together the Zaku suit yet. This is the second version. I haven't put this together just because I just bought this today because I like the $10 Gundam 78 so much that decided to try out this one. And like with all model kits, they come in sheets of plastic like this, and then there's instruction to assemble it. So if you like putting together things, if you like Legos, you'll really love these model kits. They're kind of fun if I've actually historically have never enjoyed these because they just take too long. Maybe I just had a very advanced model kit that took me a week to put together, and by the time I put it together, I was just so happy that it was together that I didn't even bother putting together the gun assembly or the shields or anything because I was just happy to have the figure, and the plastic on that wasn't very good, I thought, and it kind of broke apart just because of the nature of model kits where you clamp things together and they just don't stay in quite as good because they're meant to be assembled and stuff like that. So I didn't really like that. I do like action figures, but I want mine kind of pre-assembled. All right, so another thing, I also picked up this. This is actually not a model kit. This is more of a kind of mostly pre-made, it looks like you got a frame and then you got an exterior. And they come pretty much pre-assembled for you. Like these little, they're very as far as it's like not even intermediate. This is like almost beginner. You just like snap them together, but it should kind of give you an idea of if you want to get into the world of model kits and robot model kits. Definitely I think it's a really good idea to introduce them to target customers, especially for the price point. This is like $10. $10. So this is such a good price, especially because a lot of model kits that for hardcore fans they ended up paying a lot more because they import these from Japan, and I think Bandai kind of wants the American to get into the model kit, uh, world, and to introduce that. This line I think is spectacular for what they're trying to do to get people interested in model kits. And yeah, I mean, no paint required is awesome. No stickers, nothing crazy like that. It's just you just assemble it and then it's done. I like that. All right, let's compare scale. So this is standard, the 1/44th scale. These are like really tiny model kits. They come in a very tiny box. And then we got an action figure that's a little larger than the thing. Finally, we also have these the Gundam Universe, which are much larger than these model kits. So as you can see, Gundam Universe figures are 6 inches. These look like they're about 4 inches or so. These are about 3 inches, and then these are even less. So the 6-inch line for Gundam Universe, fantastic. They're $20, and then you got the slightly 1/44 scale, a little smaller. But overall, if you like Gundam and you've never got into model kits before, I think these are fantastic starter kits for casual fans. I like it. I really like it. Even though I've admitted in the past that I do not like taking too long to put together. And plus, the more advanced kit costs $70, $80 to import them. These are American releases, domestic releases. So really good prices. That's all I have to say. Okay, so here's an update. I finished building the Zaku II, or the Char suit, and this new one is much more complicated than the Gundam 78 suit. Obviously, one requires many tiny little moving parts, and the other one was basically a breeze. So yeah, this the Char suit it's much more demanding of your time and the ability of not losing any pieces, tiny little pieces. So yeah, you do get a bunch of different hands and stuff with the Char build. Mostly because only certain hands can hold certain weapons. This gun here, I actually could not get Char to properly hold because of this kind of arm rest here. This arm, it just would bang up against his arm. I just can't get the hand to hold it properly. He does have weapon storage for like his axe here, and also this bazooka, but overall, yeah, it's a really nicely designed and thought out model. Unfortunately, with all these model kits, like the plastic is very hollow and light. It's just the nature of these things. They don't feel like action figures. When you hold this up next to an action figure, you can tell just by the weight that it's really not meant to be played with. Really, it's more of a posing and kind of realistic model of what you would think to get if this was a real life representation of a giant robot to a 1/144 scale. So yeah, so if this in real life, if it's 144 times, it would represent the gigantic robot that it is. Yeah, I do love how the enemy's robot design is more circular, more organic looking than say the Gundam suits, which are more robotic and kind of square. As a special bonus, I did put together the suit. The I did not really like this one. It was just very quickly you can put it together, take off the armor, and then put it on the exoskeleton. You do get two exoskeleton for some reason, and the second exoskeleton you can use as a stand. You can convert it to as a stand. But yeah, I actually did not really enjoy this as much. This was also much more expensive. I think it's $15. This was about $17 or $18. And then the Gundam one, which I think for the best value was only $10. Yeah, Gundam 78, just a really classic suit. And personally speaking, if you were to get this, get the Gundam 78. I think you'll have a great time putting this together. And the other thing is, I really love the pricing. I think, bringing it to America for an American audience to keep the cost down. I mean, instead of importing these, in the past, you would probably pay $20 for this, but now you can get it at Target for like $10, which is, I think, an absolute bargain for these model kits, and because they're available domestically. Yeah. I still do recommend, if you're into just action figures, get the Gundam Universe. They're much bigger, and they're solid, and you don't have to spend any time putting the pieces together. So far, this is actually my favorite of all the Gundam Universe. I think his look is so radically different as a design perspective, and he has like those rivets and stuff that I really enjoy. Very militaristic, and then his head is the Gundam classic head, but with this gigantic antenna, which I really dig. But yeah, and plus the color is just very different from the typical Gundam color scheme of blue, red, and white. He is more like a beige-ish color. Anyway, yeah. So as far as like I said, I'll still continue to collect the Gundam Universe. But the model kit I'm gonna be hot or cold on, simply because I don't really like to spend a lot of time building my figures. I understand that's part of the fun, and building the Char armor, it took way too long than I wanted to spend my time. But given the COVID pandemic and all that stuff, maybe more time is actually probably best for if you're into that kind of thing. If you want to spend time, building and stuff like that. I think it's fun for little kids. I think if you have kids, they'll have a better time building this than I did. Mostly because there's so many small pieces that goes into this thing. You wouldn't believe it, but this figure took, I mean, just the arm itself took like 27 different parts just putting in there, and I wasn't quite happy with the way they structured this arm thing. It comes off way too easily. This thing comes off way too easily. So I don't know if it's just my version, but the way they designed that, it just comes off too easily, in my opinion. But otherwise, it's. I think you do have a different appreciation when you put something like this together, where it doesn't look very complicated from the outside, but once you do all the interior like this chest area and this leg area and stuff like that, it's you do appreciate what goes into the design of putting something like this together, and how complicated it is to put together, say, a toy where I'm assuming the toy assembly process is almost similar, where they get a sheet of plastic and they assemble it by hand. I'm sure machines do it now, but like something like this action figure over here is probably done in the same kind of model kit-ish way. You just always assume they just come pre-assembled like this, but it seems like there's a lot of different parts to make all the articulation and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, I do appreciate the model kit stuff. Again, if I see a Target, yeah, in the future I might just pick up a few more just to play around with, but I'm gonna be hesitant on the difficulty levels. Maybe pay attention to that. They do recommend you be an 8 and older. I think the age got to be a little, maybe 10. I'm gonna recommend 10 or 12 because 8-year-olds are gonna like eat these body parts by accident. Yeah, like like this little spike here, that's a piece, and the eyeball, that's a sticker, and I don't know. It's anyway. I guess I didn't really have that fun building it, but maybe again, model kits are just not my thing. Yeah, some loose stuff maybe can fix with glue or something like that, and permanently fix it. All right, that's pretty much it for Gunpla at Target. I think I'm very excited about that. I'll probably continue to support Bandai and the Gunpla. I'll also be supporting the Gundam Universe. So whenever I see new Gundam Universe, I'll buy them.